Hey everybody, so this morning I'm getting ready for an event. I'm going to this Femme Club Power Up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's a new kind of like group getting together, and they're, based on like kind of like feminist ideas or topics, and it's going to be like a lot of different fun things. There's a panel of speakers, so I'm going by myself. I originally invited a couple friends, but they were unable to come, so we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of nervous to go by myself, but I thought it'd be a great time to kind of bring up going from like online community to in-person community, because a lot of people are scared to do that. They have connections to plus size people through Instagram, friends, etc., but they haven't like made that bridge to actually hang out with them in person. So I want to talk about some times that I've done that and why I like to do that, and we'll also get ready at the exact same time. And I'm throwing in a bunch of crap into this video because I just got my Boxycharm, and I got the Boxy Luxe. Now it's already open and all messed up because I opened it on Instagram last night, but I thought I would just show you really quick what I got because I'm going to use some of it. So, I got this iconic eyebrow cushion. It's $40 if you bought it in store. It's weird. It's really weird. It's, it's a nice little travel case, but you open it and it's a little cushion of wet stuff for your eyebrows, and I'm not sure how I feel about the wet stuff, it being like liquidy, but I'll try at some point. Not today, not when I have places to go. I also got this IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream Moisturizing Super Cream. It's supposed to do a lot of nice stuff for your face, and this is like a hefty jar. It is heavy. I haven't opened it yet, but I need all the moisture I can get, so excited about that. I got this lipstick from Becca Cosmetics. I really love Becca Cosmetics. It's in a crimson red, and so this will be good whenever I want that pop of color. Oh, and it has a magnetic closure. Nice. Today I'm going to wear that top I hauled a while ago that has like, it's from Prem. It has different like women on it. I figure what's a better place to wear that than here. So I'm going for more of a brown situation for makeup today. Also got these. Oh, that lipstick is $24. Also got these brushes. This is $29.99. By the way, Boxy Luxe is around like $48. You have to be a subscriber to Boxycharm to be able to upgrade to Boxy Luxe, and it happens quarterly. But anyways, I got two brushes. They're very soft. I'm excited. I always could use new brushes. They come with like this little pink handle. Ooh, it's a nice highlighter fluffy brush, so we can use those today. Got some Lily lashes. This is a really good company. I don't tend to wear fake lashes, but I'll try these on like a special day. I got the wrong color for this. They sent me actually the medium deep, and so all the colors are pretty dark, but they also credited me $45 in my charms, so I can buy other stuff from Boxycharm. So that's pretty nice of them, because this is still really pretty and I will definitely use a lot of it. So it comes with highlighter, blush, brightener, contour. It's just all for like medium dark skin tones versus what I should have gotten, which was a light. But I will still use these, and in the summer they'll probably be perfect because I do tend to get pretty tan. And then I got this Morphe eyeshadow palette. This is $16, so very affordable, and I will use this today. And all those colors are super pretty. I got a face mask. This is from Wander Beauty. It's $34. This is a lift off, purifying, and brightening peel off mask, and I do like peel off masks, so very excited about this. I'll probably use it tonight. I've tried Wander Beauty's mascara before, and is that it? No. I also got these nail polishes, Deborah Lippmann nail polishes, and they're definitely colors that I love, so excited about those. I've been getting my nails done lately. I've been getting just gel polish at the salon, mostly because it's the only thing that tends to stay on my nails. But oh, and then I also got this. It's by Boxycharm. It's just a makeup carrier. They put this as $20, but I don't know. All of that makeup equals out to $300, including the bag, and I paid $48. And honestly, I love all of it. I'll use all of it. So very excited about that. Probably least excited about this, even though this is like the $40 thing, just because it feels weird to put such liquidy stuff on my eyebrows. But anyways, let's get started. So far, all I've done is dried my hair. I've been using this. I'll talk to you guys about needing root lifter. I got this at Marshall's for $12.99. The Big Sexy Hair Root Pump Plus. And I do feel like it adds volume to my hair, and it's not like nasty feeling. And I can tell a major difference when I don't use it. So I've been enjoying that. You put it on your damp hair at the root, and you pull kind of forward. And I'm sorry, you guys are on a table that like I'm sitting on my bed, so it's not the most stable. Hopefully you guys aren't being like seasick watching me. Anyways, let's get ready. So yeah, I put moisture on my face, so I'm gonna go straight into foundation. I'm still using Fowera. It's running out a little bit, and I will say this seems to like oxidize some and get darker as I wear it, which I'm not loving. But I don't have anything better at the moment, so I did order more, and I ordered one in a color lighter than this. But it'll take a little bit to get to me. So anyways, if you only found me through YouTube, then what you probably don't know, what you probably don't know is that YouTube is not the first time that I've ever like done fashion stuff before. So around 2010, I had just graduated with my bachelor's degree. I was 22 years old, and I went straight into getting my master's, and I had moved back home, and to be quite frank, I was lonely. Like my friends had either moved elsewhere or were still in my college town finishing up their degrees, and graduate school is very different because a lot of people I went to school with were older than me, but also like you just went to classes. You didn't live there. You didn't really have a community there. I had friends at school, but they didn't translate into friends outside of school. So, you know, I was lonely. And in college, I basically had like weight loss attempt after weight loss attempt after weight loss attempt. And I think that when I was going into graduate school, I was just like, oh, I'm tired. And I also like wasn't finding clothes that fit me well. So I got online and searched for like plus size fashion, I think, and I found bloggers, and it sounds so stupid, but I literally did not know that people wrote about that stuff online. Like I had no idea that it existed. I had no idea that like there were plus size fashion people, and so much has changed since 2010 in terms of what media puts out there. I mean, at that point, people weren't putting plus size people in magazines. I mean, this is almost a decade ago. And so I like read blogs and obsessively for a couple months, and I read a lot of British bloggers, but I also found some people in the US that I really loved, and that's when I found like Gabby Gregg and people like that. But also I found people who weren't like in the fashion industry, who are just everyday people, and those are the people that like I'm most oriented towards, because I'm an everyday person. You know, like I don't work in the fashion industry. That's not my world, you know. And so I started blogging, and my blog was called The Plus Side of Me, and really my goal was like to stop the whole like negativity around my body. And so I did that for about can you see this gray hair? Yeah, that's what teaching does to you. I blogged heavily from like 2010 to 2014, and in that time frame, I guess I was pretty well integrated. I was one of the few bloggers that was above a size 24, and so you know that certainly got me like more recognized. I got to work with the brand Evans, which is a UK brand. I was their like pear-shaped model that I would do like different things with them. So I went to Full Figured Fashion Week, which was the big event now. I guess you could say now it's CurvyCon, but back then it was Full Figured Fashion Week. And the first year that I just went as someone that wanted to go. And I roomed with Nicole from A Well-Rounded Venture. And she was a friend that I had made. Like, we were doing different posts online. We would do this thing called 5 Take, where 5 of us would wear like the same fashioned item and style it in our own ways and stuff. And so she was like the first person I met online, and I also in person, and I also met Olivia from Wait Until the Sunset. She's Australian and freaking hilarious. And then I met plenty of other people at Full Figured Fashion Week, and it was the first time I had like my community. That's where I met so I forget names all the time, but that's where I met the person that does the Plus Bus, who I've gone and spent time with other times. I just can't remember any names right now. It is nothing to say about this person. So anyways, that was the first time I had Plus community in person, and holy crap, it was a big major difference. Like, when you're around other confident plus size women, it does something to you. You can say like, oh, they're wearing that, they're doing that, I can do that. I can do that as well. And then also they understand so many things without having to say it. They understand to like look out for so many things. There are some shared experiences that just feel so good to have someone else that understands. And yeah, like I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And most of the events at Full Figured Fashion Week were about fashion, and I realized pretty quickly that was somewhat limiting. So like at the actual events itself, because I'm using this, I forgot my contour. I forgot my contour like 5 feet away, but I'm not getting up to get it. Because it was fashion oriented, the actual events itself were very much about like brands, and so you're looking at their clothes, you're taking pictures, blah blah blah. So it was very fashion oriented, but because I was staying with bloggers and hanging out with Olivia and them outside of it, that's really whenever like it was more like friendship activities. And I remember we were going to a lot of people like I'm going in tangents, I know. But one of the things that I've thought about is that some people feel very uncomfortable. Like, they either feel very uncomfortable being the only fat person in a group, or they feel uncomfortable being in a big group of fat people because it draws attention. And I was thinking about that because my sister, like, when we go to a restaurant, a lot of people in my family are large. When we go to a restaurant, she's like, I feel sometimes like people are focusing too much on us because we're all large and we're all coming in at the same time. And I can understand that anxiety of bringing on attention. And whenever you're traveling with a big group of plus women who are all like dressed to the nines, you're going to draw attention. And some people are very uncomfortable with that. And I think it's something to think about, like, that discomfort. Like, it's something to consider. I don't begrudge people feeling uncomfortable. We've been taught a lot, to hide ourselves or to not draw attention. But like, what a shame if it keeps you from these friendships and these meaningful, connections. But anyways, I remember going to a restaurant and we were all walking in. We were probably like 10 deep. Like, we had a lot of people there. And some guy started like laughing at us and pointing to his friends about something. I only saw the tail end of it. But Olivia is a Spitfire, and she immediately was like, "Don't you dare!" Like, she said something to him, and later on he came. We ate downstairs. Later on he came down and apologized. But it was just like this moment of like camaraderie and like, yeah, you're fat, and people hate fat people. Like, some people do. They go out of their way to say shit about fat people. But as a group, we had this like strength about us, and these people that are willing to be like, no, that's not okay. And I really appreciated that. And I really appreciated, like, at the time I was only 23, 24. I needed to see that. I needed to see it so badly. Like, I think I would be the person nowadays. I'd be like, cut that out. Not appropriate. But at the time I wasn't, and I needed to see that from someone else. So that was the first plus size specific event that I had gone to. I guess before then I had gone to an academic conference in fat studies, which does exist and is actually pretty darn cool. And I had met some people there, but it was more like academic. And I was writing my graduate project at the time, and maybe that was after. And like I was in a hotel room writing my graduate project a lot. But then the next year, I was invited to be one of the official bloggers for Full Figured Fashion Week, which was really cool because then I got like special access to things. And I took my sister-in-law with me that time, and before she was my sister-in-law, you know. And again, I had a really good time. But one of the things that I noticed, and Olivia was there again, Nicole wasn't. I got to hang out with some other people. Sam from, I'll just start putting their stuff up here. I can't remember anything. Sam is also Australian. Anyways, so I met some really cool people. And it was changing to meet people who are very confident. And we're doing, honestly, just doing really freaking cool things. I mean, Olivia was a nurse. She told us some interesting stories about baby jackets, you know, like emergency jackets you put babies in. I mean, just all these things that still, this many years later, stand out because I just found it so interesting. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to do my eyes now. Using that Morphe palette. So, those events were really important. Whenever I finished graduate school and I started working, it was much harder for me to keep up with blogging. So I kind of fell to the wayside with it. This is what I think I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use beignet at first. Then I'm going to kind of go, I'm going to work in this area. I'm going to do some like browns, maybe a little bit of that in the corner. Sorry, I'm not set up to do the best tutorial at the moment, and let's face it, please don't come to me for a tutorial. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But anyways, so I kind of stopped blogging, and honestly I had gained weight. I had gained quite a bit of weight. I gained enough weight to be like a size 30 at that point, and like a very full 30. I couldn't find clothes that I liked anymore. I was depressed in certain ways. I was stressed out from my new job. And like people just stopped reading blogs. Like it didn't feel like it was paying off anymore to put myself out there. That puts on a nice bit of color. That's that beignet color. And so I stopped being engaged, and honestly I got a little bit like just over the whole scene. Like some of my friends had stopped blogging, like Nicole. The people that were still blogging, I wasn't like connecting with. I didn't have that like friendship anymore. It just was people on Instagram posting fashion shots. And I really missed, like, I mean, back whenever I used to do blogging, you'd constantly like, link to other people. You would do challenges with other people. It was much more social. It was a smaller community, and it had gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's fine. And people were starting to make money, and it just was different. And I wasn't into it anymore. So I stopped engaging pretty much entirely. There was about a year and a half there. You know, like, yeah, there's a good while there that I just didn't put out content and like backed away into the shadows. So this past, I would say like about a year and a half ago, I started getting interested in it again, and I was starting to follow people and do more things. And I had been watching, and honestly what changed, I started watching a lot of YouTube, and YouTube brought back the personal part of it. People were actually sharing personal things, and they're sharing their lives. I'm going in with Patty, which is a really dark brown. And that made me like excited again. Like, I connect to people. I don't just connect to their outfits. And so YouTube made me really excited again, and I started getting way more into watching and sharing again. And I was re-inspired, and that was, I can't tell you, I know like fashion to people is like really surface level, and to me sometimes it is too, but it felt so good to be re-inspired, to like care, you know, and it helped that I had shed some weight, and I know that like it was easier to access clothing, and so I could find things I liked again. So I started getting really interested in it. I was listening to a bunch of podcasts. Like, I loved listening to Fat Girls Club podcast, and I was getting heavily involved again in paying attention to plus size voices. I'm gonna go with Waffles, which is like this deep purpley brown shimmer. And then maybe Sunday Fun Day, which is lighter on the inner corners. And yeah. So again, podcasts are great because again, you hear people, you actually understand their personality. So I had been listening to a podcast, I believe it was The Fat Lip, and I heard about this fat camp that was going to be put on. And the fat camp, I did, at the time I heard about it, I was like, that's cool because I've always wanted to go to summer camp, but I've never gone. And so I thought it was a cool idea, but I didn't realize at the time that it was in North Carolina. And I had started just being more present on Instagram at that point. So I don't know if you can tell that I have that shimmer. I don't know if you can tell. It's not very shimmery. And Annette, the organizer of the camp, reached out to me and asked if I was interested in going. And basically, you know, she could give me a little, you know, she worked with me on the pay rate. I still paid to go, but it was a little bit less than it would be, and I would share about it on my social media and things like that. So that was great because I didn't have a ton of money to do traveling things, but I had enough to do that. And I had never been to camp, and I also really wanted to go to an event that wasn't fashion focused, because I do think that whenever you're fashion focused, like, you're not as focused on connecting as people. You know, you're focusing on the brand. I'm going in that Sunday Fun Day, which is kind of like a frosted purple. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it on my lid. And so I was looking forward to that. And I was going to go on my own. Now, I think that, like, me being a teacher at this point, I'm not scared necessarily to go do things on my own. I realize that other people can be. I realize that it is a lot for some people. And but I also knew I was going to be going and meeting a bunch of people who also wanted the same experience. So there had to be, like, some sort of common ground there that would draw all of us to this event, because it's a very specific kind of event. So I went, and that weekend was so inspiring. I mean, again, it wasn't as focused on fashion, which I really appreciate. We did do, like, some fashion moments, like we did, like, a photo shoot and stuff, but it was so much more than that. It was being part of a group. It was just us. We shared stories. I learned about people's relationships with their mothers. I learned about people's relationships with dating. Like, we just shared so much more personal stuff that really, you know, really stuck with me. And then also, it inspired me to finally get an act on doing YouTube. Like, to finally move ahead. I've been thinking about it. I needed to just do it. So the camp is awesome. I'm going to try to include some clips. We did all kinds of things. We swam, we tried, I went tubing for the first time, and I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been like a teenager and you've wanted to do like some fun thing like tubing, and you're scared of how your body's going to look bouncing around on the tube, it is so freeing to do it with a bunch of plus size women who don't give a damn, and in fact expect your body to bounce. And like, it was truly a no judgment zone, and you could just do everything. I mean, I had brought a bikini to wear, but then I was kind of like nervous to wear it, and one of the girls, Liz from PS It's Fashion, was wearing a bikini, and I was just like, oh. I was watching her in the cabin, and I was like, I can wear it. I'm just gonna wear it. And I did wear it, and it was awesome. And I told her, and the nice thing is, like, at that camp, you could tell them, like, you inspired me to do this, and I think that was just really beneficial for everyone. And we all got a chance to be heard. We all got a chance to share. And yeah, and that camp is going on again this next year, and I'm going to it. And Jessica Torres is going to be there. I mean, so many cool people. Marcy Cruz is going to be there. So many inspiring women are going to be there. I can't wait. I'll put a link underneath about how to go. I am excited. It is one of the best things I've ever done for myself, is go to that camp. So once I got involved in that, I started looking for, well, I was already in some, like, Facebook groups for plus size people, but I also was in one for people in North Carolina, and they posted about Marilyn Wan coming and doing, like, a talk. So Marilyn Wan, if you don't know, is a fat activist, very well known, has written many books that have shaped how people think about bodies, is a big advocate for healthcare for plus size people. So I really wanted to meet her. When I was a graduate student, I read a lot of her work for my research, and she's just an inspiring person. And so I went to a talk of hers in Greensboro, and I got to meet a girl named Taylor, who had also followed online for many years but had never met in person. And it's been nice because that same group, like, I find out about more things happening in North Carolina through them. And so there's that. And then I also met the woman, Amy, who runs Worthy Figures. I took you guys along on a shopping trip with her to her boutique. She's one of the people that's organizing this Femme Club thing I'm going to today. So, like, once you start making connections in your area, you start learning about more and more things through them. Like, they have connections, they have events that they're doing, and you'll learn about more and more people. Like, I now know other plus-size bloggers in North Carolina. I'm guessing I'll meet a couple of them today. I don't know. Haven't really, like, chatted with them. And I do think there's, like, differences that you had to be aware of. Like, I highly identify with being plus size. I've been plus size my entire life. I'm not just kind of plus size. I am plus size. And so, I am totally okay with doing lots of activities around that. Like, this is an identity I've had for quite a while. But some people aren't, and they feel differently about it, and, like, you just have to kind of be open-minded to what that might mean and which group may or may not be the best fit for you. But it is nice to be around a group of women who are like-minded and understand and are willing to share and are wanting to share, are wanting that friendship that matters so much. And I think, sometimes when it exists only online, that means you only get so much. You only get so much connection. It's totally different than being face-to-face and getting to talk with them about these topics. I mean, like Olivia from Wait Until Sunset, who I mentioned before, I always thought she was interesting online, but meeting her in person, I just respected the hell out of her. Like, she was just an amazing woman, and I don't know if I would have fully understood that or realized it had I not met her in person. And I think that makes a big difference. Like, having met them in person, having shared with them in person, knowing their voice, knowing their mannerisms, it matters. It really matters. And I hope that if you're interested in doing, like, in real life meetup type stuff, that you do them and that you find opportunities to have those connections, because it just really makes a difference. And, some of these, like, people who are really big into, like, fashion influencer type stuff, like Liz from P.S. It's Fashion. I had read some of her stuff on Refinery 29. I knew she was heavily involved in fashion, but I didn't know her as a person until I met her. And that's when I was, honestly, my interest in what she had to say grew because of how positive an impression she made on me in person. And that's not to say like anyone's online persona is not enough. It's just that I understood her differently, understood her story differently, and I just felt like I knew her after meeting her and spending time with her, and she was very vulnerable with us, and I really now, like, if I was to read her stuff, I would just trust her. I would trust her to be honest, because when I met her, she proved herself to be incredibly honest. And so, yeah, like, I think those in-person experiences matter, and are probably the best thing that's come out of me doing, any kind of blogging or anything like that. So I used that for the shimmer you just got, but I just remembered I have some highlighter in the Cover FX thing. So let's do that. Ooh, the highlighter, there's like a bronzy one and a pinky one. Let's go with the pink. So it is so gray outside. It's disgusting. I don't know how much of that you can see. I'm not sure if this brush is the best brush for this. I can see a little bit, but I also think it's just not the best brush, even though it's a highlighter brush. Maybe a little too... So yeah, like, I've had lots of different experiences of meeting people in person that I've met online, that I know of online, and I would say 99% of it has been positive, and usually those people open, their door to you when you're elsewhere. When I was in California, I was able to go visit the Plus Bus and see my friend. It's going to actually, like, annoy the crap out of me that I'm not saying her name right. I feel so disrespectful not saying it. I look at her stuff every day on Facebook, and for some reason, I cannot remember her name at this exact moment. But anyways, I got to go visit her and see her shop, and she's doing awesome things in California. She is making a community space and a place for resale for plus sizes. And so you just meet people who are doing such cool things. And when I was at camp, you also meet people that are just, again, like me, everyday people who are plus size, who want that community, and they can become, like, super inspirational to you. One of the people I met at camp, Josie, she posts a little bit on Instagram, but, like, she works at a plus size retailer. She's a normal person. It's not like she has, like, 80,000 Instagram followers or something. But she was super inspiring to talk to. And again, so honest, and all those things matter. So if you're someone that doesn't, like, have a blog or YouTube or Instagram, you should still look into those things. Like, you can still form community, but I will say it is always easier to form connections when you share back. And so, you can meet someone and have a great time. It's hard to stay connected whenever you personally don't put anything out there. They need stuff to see who you are too. And so you might consider that, like, maybe your first step is an Instagram where you can connect to people and show who you are. Because I distrust, 90% of the people that don't have profiles on Instagram that message me are men who knows who they are, But I'm not going to talk to a gray face. Like, I want to know who this person is. I want to connect as people. And so I think, having that is a good starting point. Also, if you're someone that doesn't like Instagram, there's some great plus size communities on Facebook. Candy's community, it has a K for both of them. That's from Candy Fox, who has an Instagram or YouTube channel here as well. I found that to be a good Facebook group to be part of. There's also usually one by your state. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Fat Girls Traveling is a good one. If you decide to go to fat camp, then there's a Facebook group once you have, started payments that you get into, and I'm helping moderate that, so you'll see posts from me. But it's just, a process of sharing and learning from people and connecting with them, and all of that is give and take. All of that is listening, receiving, responding, but also putting yourself out there so that people know who you are and can connect to you, which is, where you're going to get the good stuff. So I'm very curious if any of you have done some kind of like meetup with plus size people in your area, or if you have other like interest groups that you do that with. Obviously if you're into crafting, there's lots of different meetup groups for crafts, but harder to find people that just kind of like have an identity set or a commonality in life. I will say Fat Girls Traveling does a lot of events. Like, that's a great place to look. Obviously it's like centered around people who are invested in traveling, but she's done like cruises. She has meetups in different cities. So I definitely think like if you're interested, that's a good place to look first. I know someone told me not to do this. I still do it. I'm sorry. But yeah. I definitely think now that I'm over 30, I'm 31 years old, that I'm having more meaningful connections when I do these in-person things than not. When I was doing the fashion stuff, it felt a little bit more competitive. It felt like there were some mean girls, but I haven't done that in a long time. I have no idea how it would feel if I went to like the CurvyCon now. And there's such big events. I prefer like smaller, more intimate events where you're gonna like meet the people that are there and spend more time with them. And then like today's event, I'm not sure what to think. It is definitely like they have a plus size speaker. I think she's probably around a size 14, 16. And I say that because I think a person who's a 14, 16 may not fully understand what it's like to be a size 22, 24, 26 plus. So we'll see how that goes. They did offer t-shirts up through a size 3X. I think it could have been more inclusive, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how many this is not necessarily a plus size event. So I'm not sure, that's probably not going to be a big focus for them. We do get to customize our t-shirts. I'll get to go see Amy from Worthy Figures. She'll be selling some stuff, so I'll check in with her and see what she has. But yeah, so this is not a plus size specific event, so I'm interested to see the difference, but it is a feminist kind of event. So my assumption is that they'll be body positive. So going to use my handy dandy perfume. I've been using this, I got a new one, this deodorant lately. I had been using Secret for years and years and years, and it stopped working. So switched a degree, it seems to be going okay. I do like the eyeshadow. Again, like I'm never someone that goes like too out there, but I think it's really pretty. And I like it against like the lashes. These are my natural lashes, obviously. I never put on lipstick until it's all my lipstick's in my purse, so I don't have anything there. I am going to curl my hair simply because it is foggy and humid outside, and if I leave it like this, it's just going to get nasty curly. So I'll curl my hair, and then I'll catch back up with you once I'm dressed. I'll show you what I'm wearing. I did have to buy some like fashion tape to fix the sleeves of that shirt. Some people commented saying it's a French cuff shirt, and I agree with them on that, but the fabric is so soft that it just doesn't like hold up. So hopefully that works, but I'll check it with you in just a little bit.
I'm collaborating with this brand, how should I negotiate, or have you heard of this? So I get it, I'm really tall, I wear a lot of glitter. So once I talk to you, if you still don't like me, then that's on you. So just know that, like, don't be afraid to be yourself. The right people respond to that.
Do I like this?
Yeah.
It's extra large. I'm not sure you can get it.
Yeah. What do you think? She's like, why would I not?
Just feels.
Hey everybody, so I'm home now, and whew, what a day. It rained on me about 20,000 times, and I'm lucky to have any makeup left on my face. It was one of those days that just like misted the entire day long, and everything got wet, everything. So, the event was fun. I was right that it was kind of like, it was different than what I'm used to because it wasn't plus size specific. So I felt like when I introduced people and told them I was into plus size fashion, it wasn't that it was necessarily weird, but they just, they didn't expect that necessarily. But yeah, I met some really cool people. I met someone who is doing like vlogs of Charlotte area women's events. And I met a person who has like a jewelry and accessory boutique, and I bought some really cool earrings. I'll show you in just a second. I also got to make my own shirt as part of it. So yeah, let me show you those things real quick. So I got a little like Femme Club bag. That's really cool. And part of the ticket price was that you got to make your own shirt while you're there. So we told them what size we needed. I got a 3X. And it was just like, doing different words and mantras. I got the word enough with a period afterwards. And I liked that can be interpreted in multiple ways. Like I am enough, but also like I am enough, but also like enough, stop that. So lots of ways to interpret it. The earrings I got, I bonded with the person who owned the boutique over our shared love of Whitney Waythor and the desire to have a big girl dance class in Charlotte. But I got some really cool earrings that are unusual for me. And it's making me think that it might be fun to do a week challenge of like accessory forward looks, because that tends to be an area that I don't focus on as much. And it might be fun to like create outfits that are centering accessories. So yeah, I think these are really cool. And that was nice. And of course I got to see Amy from Worthy Figures some more and look at what kind of things she had going on in her boutique. So that was fun. My outfit for the day, I wore the Prem shirt with the figured like women's all over it. The figures of women all over it in like bathing suits and stuff. I figured that was probably like the perfect event to wear that to. But that shirt caused me problems. I got fashion tape to like hold the sleeves up. And sorry if you hear Lola, she's crunching on a bone right now. But then like the buttons on both sleeves fell off during the event itself. Or actually one fell off during the event, one fell off later. That shirt just needs some work to make it work. That was a little bit frustrating. I don't think it was my best look ever, but I'll definitely include a picture. And then afterwards I went and hung out with a friend, and yes, I'm just now getting home. I'm tired, I'm looking rough, I've been rained on way too many times. So I'm gonna go and edit this and hopefully include like lots of footage from some of those past experiences that I've had. This was fun. It was not as, I missed part of it. I was late, so I didn't get to chat as much with people there because after the panel, I think a lot of people had left or were leaving, and that's whenever I was getting going. So, I didn't get to connect as much as I maybe would have wanted to. And so I think I do prefer events where like maybe it's a group shared activity rather than like going to different like marketplaces or going to different stalls, because that tends to get to where you're only talking to people you're with. But I still had a great time. It was good to see things happening in Charlotte. So I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye.